Hi there. My name is Mike Ansari, and I'm the CEO of Heart for Iran. Iran is a persecuted country, and we've been trying to bring the gospel to this country since 2006 using media. And the biggest tool that we have been using is partnership and collaboration. We partner with many partners to bring the gospel to Iran. Iran is a persecuted country. It is the ninth most dangerous place to be a follower of Jesus, according to Open Doors watch list that was published earlier in the year. So, how do you bring gospel to a people that are persecuted in the Middle East? And that is very tricky. So, I want to try to share with you guys the whole concept of virtual church. Let me share with you guys right off the bat that when we do talk about virtual in this discussion, the context, I do realize that when you talk about virtual, it could be virtual reality, augmented reality, and it's not the same thing as digital or online. But for the sake of this conversation, bear with me, because when I talk about virtual church, I'm talking about an online church or a digital church. So the bigger question that we have over here is doing church online more than streaming a sermon on Facebook Live or YouTube? The answer is yes, it definitely is. Because if you just stream something over the internet, then this is more of a Web 2.0 version where you are just bringing in a one-way message. The level of engagement at the level that you need to have is basically lacking, and you will not be able to generate leads. So one of the challenges that you have in ministry online is you need to actually have a good understanding of who your target is. You have to understand the persona to which you are targeting your content to. So we've done all that homework, and in 2018, we decided to launch a virtual church. The challenge that we had is whenever we started talking about virtual context, a lot of friends, ministry friends, they said, time out. This whole concept of virtual church, we don't understand the theological implications of being able to meet online. Is virtual church a real church? And there's a lot of theological questions which are very valid. How do you handle the concept of, sacraments and other things on an online setting? So we decided to be very transparent and humble. We said we don't know what the answer is, but there's one thing that we knew, that in the country of Iran, an average person who had left Islam for Christ did not have access to a church the way you and I have access to. They did not have access to a Bible. They didn't have access to fellowship and discipleship. Most of the people in that region are isolated believers. So how do you go about reaching them? 2019, we finally launched, October of 2019, we launched our first online church, digital church, and it went viral. People in Iran started devouring it. And very interestingly, it was mostly the millennials. That was a demographic that we hadn't been able to reach. It was a difficult demographic to reach through typical satellite TV, but we were reaching them online. This is way before pandemic. Now, fast forward to COVID-19. February and March of 2020, practically the entire world got shut down. Those churches that were objecting to the theological validation of a virtual church had no choice but to find themselves online, ministering online. So all of a sudden, the whole concept got more attention and got more discussion. And the final result is as such. We still don't have all the answers. That's what I want to say to you. But there's one thing that we know for sure, is that a virtual church is a place where there's fellowship and a community formed, specifically for people that do not have access to a church experience that you and I have. We do believe strongly that church should be a face-to-face fellowship of individuals. But when you're dealing with persecuted countries, this online and virtual fellowship is a bridge that allows us to connect these individuals, because otherwise they will not have a community or family to connect to. They bring them to an oikos, to a place of community, to a place of family, where they get to meet other believers just like themselves that are in hiding, that are desiring to be discipled and be leaders. And investing in them right now is working. This is a working model. And I got to tell you something, a lot of different ministries that were skeptical and objected to the virtual church model are now finding themselves in that space, because coronavirus has done a number to all of us in 2020. Therefore, this concept needs more understanding. I do realize that there are churches that are baptizing people virtually. There are even people who are marrying others online. It is working for a lot of persecuted countries, and otherwise they wouldn't be able to do it. But I would always say to you, if you can get together and have a face-to-face fellowship, nothing beats that. That's the biblical way of doing it. But we also feel that these days, having a virtual fellowship and a virtual church is a necessity, and we cannot discount it. The conversation has just started, and we invite you to be a part of this dialogue and see what we can do to secure bringing the gospel in a safe environment that is theological, especially to those who are persecuted and isolated way away from all of us. So, love to hear back from you guys, and I hope that this bit of information that I share with you would bless you. Thank you.